Footy's on the doorstep, but Ridley won't be there. Hey everyone, welcome to another video here on the Sash YouTube channel. My name is Rob and I'm glad to have you here joining me here for another season of Don's Footy. 2 practice matches are done and look, I'm pretty content with how it went, considering my expectations. St Kilda was very poor, as we know, and Geelong, we sort of saw a bit more of what we can expect from the side. Unfortunately, though, the biggest news is that Jordan Ridley has re-injured the quad that he injured last year. It's the same right quad, and it's going to put him out for a bit of time. He spoke to the media and said, "I won't be available for round 1, but hopefully back soon. It's probably 3 to 4 weeks." This was later confirmed by the club. 3 to 4 weeks may not see him return until the St Kilda or Port Adelaide game, but with the injury recurring on the same quad that he injured last year, I feel like the club will be a lot more cautious than they have been in previous years, and they might hold him off for some time. We may not see Rids back until the Bulldogs game even, depending on how things are going. So in today's video, I'm going to look at the possible replacements for Jordan Ridley and see who can fill his shoes. Now, the first player I want to speak about won't actually be filling in for Jordan Ridley because sadly he's also injured. That person is Kane Baldwin. Now, I have wondered if this would have been the good opportunity for Kane to crack the side and maybe have a few weeks uninterrupted playing there in defence. But sadly, Baldwin has suffered a navicular injury and he will miss at least 14 weeks of footy. So sadly for Boulders, he's going to be out for the majority of the season. Whether or not he comes back into the senior side after that 14 weeks is still unknown, but pretty disappointing for him because this could have been a good opportunity for Boulders. The next player I want to have a look at is young Nick Cox. Coxie is yet to lock down a long-term position in this side as he's played in several different roles, and I guess we all don't really know where he's best suited, and I think the coaches aren't 100% sure either. We saw in the practice match against Geelong that he lined up on Jeremy Cameron. Now, Cameron clearly got the best of him in that practice match. He turned him inside out a few times and was comfortably better on the day, but this might be a sign of the intentions from Brad and from the coaching panel. They may be looking to bring Coxie in as another key defender or maybe another halfback, centre halfback, whatever you want to call it. So I think it's a very interesting move that's what they did in the Geelong game. Nick is incredibly raw still when it comes to playing as a key defender at AFL level. Now, he has done it at times in his junior career, but clearly never in the AFL. So let's have a look at some of his defensive key stats. So Cox averaged 1.8 spoils a game in his 6 AFL games in 2023. Now, that actually rates him as elite as far as a midfielder is concerned, but it works out a bit differently when you're playing as a defender. So for key defenders, 8 spoils per game is averaged as elite, while for small or general defenders, it's 3 per game. Obviously, when you're playing behind the ball, there are more opportunities for it to come in and for you to spoil or even intercept mark. So for intercept marks, he also averaged 1.2 intercepts a game, which is rated as elite as a midfielder. But as a defender, again, this is below average. He might, if he spends some time behind the ball this year, obviously there's a good opportunity to bring those numbers up. Now, for his contested defensive one-on-ones for his short season, they were an average of 2.4 each game, and he lost 22% of those. The next player we'll be looking at has been holding down the defence over the past few years, or at least trying to. But now with the inclusions of Ben Mackay and a fit Zach Reid, his role is likely to change. So let's talk about Jaden Lever. Lav is obviously a more experienced and more physical option to Cox. However, there are obvious concerns about his ball use coming out of defence, which I feel is the real focus for this team this season, is they really want to make sure they're getting it out of defence well and not turning it over, at least, before the centre line. Now, depending on the game, though, Lav does provide a solid option as someone who can take a more, mid-sized physical forward, like a Cam Zurhaar, for instance. Lever averaged 3.3 spoils per game as a key defender, which did rate him below average. Often outsized by his opponents. He was often beaten last year. For intercept marks, he averaged 1.6 per game, which is rated average across the league for key defenders. He also averaged 2.2 contested defensive one-on-ones, but with a loss percentage of 21.4%. Now, if we go to a comparison, we can look at the differences between Laverde and Cox when it comes to some of the key defending criteria. Having played as a key defender, Laverde leads Cox for both spoils and intercept marks, but not by a massive differential. We're not talking crazy numbers here. Playing on the wing, Cox had more opportunity for one-on-ones, but with a slightly worse loss percentage than Laverde. But again, very small margins here. I think this decision will come more down to profile. Cox being the rangy, tall, lanky defender who can hopefully be a good third man up at contest. Laverde, who is a tougher, stronger body, who can probably go with a more mobile, smaller forward. So I think this will come down to matchups. Hawthorn have a few key outs, and they'll likely have a forward line set up with Mitch Lewis and Marbio Chol as their key forward options. We'd expect Reid and Ben Mackay to probably be going to those two guys. Then it'll be a mix of mid to small forward types. You've got Luke Bruce, Jack Ginnivan will be there, the new guy Nick Watson who's yet to debut, Finn McGuinness. These are some of the guys who played in their last practice game. So if we're looking purely based on profile, I think this round one game is better suited to Jaden Laverde. I think, though, there is actually an argument that it's a good opportunity for Cox because I guess we'd probably view Hawthorn as a lesser opponent, at least compared to the other sides we play in coming weeks, Sydney, St Kilda, Port Adelaide, who are teams that are expected to challenge for finals. So maybe the coaches will see this as an opportunity to go, hey, let's play Cox here. It's a good opportunity against a team we should probably beat. Or they go the profile option and go, hey, let's play Jaden Laverde in this role as well. So let me know, who would you go with, Cox or Laverde? Although, is there a possibility that we see both? So we saw in the practice game that Ridley was in the side, and with an extended bench, so was Cox and Laverde as well. So there's a possibility we may see two of them. I think a big focus for the team this year is going to be how we can utilise Nick Martin as our distributor coming out of defence. And I feel like we probably want him to do less defensive work and more offensive work. So there's a possibility that we play an extra defender in a game to give him that freedom across the ground. So maybe we see both Cox and Laverde playing in this side, as they would have possibly had Ridley plus one of these two coming into this game. So, look, let's wait and see. I think I am still going Laverde purely based on profile, but I also see the opportunity for Cox to be in there as well. Maybe it's going to be both. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out for myself. So, let me know your preferences. Are you team Cox? Are you team Laverde? Are you team both? Or are you going somewhere totally different like a Sam Wiedemann or a Lewis Hayes? Although I don't think we'll be seeing either of those two fellas anytime soon. If you haven't listened to Monday's podcast, you can find that here. I'm hoping that's where the link's going to be. If it's not here, it's probably over here. But you can go listen to Monday's podcast. We'll have more stuff next week. And if you're a premium subscriber, there's some more interviews coming your way as well. So that's all from me. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And go Dons and up the plains.